Shvai, everybody, we're about to start, and you can keep that part in. And if anybody knows what shvai means,
What does that mean?
means quiet.
What is it again?
Shvai. I'm probably saying it wrong, but that's what I remember.
Shvai, S-P-Y.
We're saying shvai. Okay, and while we're saying shvai, welcome to the Lawyer, Money, and You. We started a new segment instead of behind the scenes, and you know what it's called?
Are the initials Ygtbk?
Yeah, that's why
Oh.
I have the You've Got to Be
Are we,
Kidding
we're not
there.
on, are we?
We should be on. And I'm
There's
Roberta
nobody.
Saphire.
There's no one at the camera.
Well, he's in the other room filming us now. We got
You gotta be kidding.
No, we got a pile of people here today. They got to be 24 people. They're rolling all over the place, but the camera won't go over there, so they can't see them. But anyway, You Got to Be Kidding.
Yeah,
And
you gotta
I'm
be kidding.
Roberta Saphire.
We're not on the air yet.
We are on the
Tell
air.
them to stop. There's no light. There's no light. We're not on.
So you might want to call this bloopers. You've Got to Be Kidding.
Well, we certainly make plenty of those. Now it's even on camera, not just off.
Yeah, I don't think it's blooper. I think it's funny. The people say, gee, you always come out perfect. And why are all these books out like that?
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Because it's showing what we're doing, and the most exciting thing is our Los Angeles Police Department.
That is so amazing.
There are 21 divisions in the Los Angeles Police Department, and our book is going to be going to all of them.
Well, you've got to tell our viewers how this even happened.
Well, we'll save that for another time because we're going to talk about LAPD every week. What I
right.
do want to talk about is You've Got to Be Kidding. And we could say You've got to be kidding. There's so much You've Got to Be Kidding. I want to talk about robocalls because they're driving me insane.
You know, just the word makes me bristle.
But imagine they have a name for it, robocalls.
You know, I without exaggeration, more than 80% of the calls that I get, either on the home phone or the cell phone, are unwanted calls.
Yeah, and yet you have to answer it because if you don't, it might be that important call you were waiting for, no matter who it's from. And they have the latest thing with the email, in the robocall, they call it a sextortion scam. I think you got this out, sextortion scam. We get those, been getting them once a week.
Really?
And I know we haven't gone to any of those sites. And what they do is, it says that they have they have a password that you used to use.
Really?
So if you do get, we have to tell our viewers, if you do get one of those emails, delete it. Don't answer it. Don't do anything. Just delete it and go check on your passwords and change them. That's why they say you have to change your passwords. But it's the same thing. It says you can't trace them. They want you to send them the money in bitcoins or something else. And then they'll send out these pictures to people and embarrass you.
Oh boy.
So go for it, you know.
Oh.
But I mean, you have to worry about it. But your robocalls. So now I did some research. People think because you go on the do not call list that it's going to stop them.
It's supposed to?
It doesn't, does it?
You got to be kidding. Really?
I'm not kidding.
Why? What happens?
Because if it stopped it, how come it keeps getting more and more? And you ever get calls? What they do now is they put almost like your home phone, or a phone number of your friend, a local number.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's somebody you know. But have you ever, you told me once, let them leave a message if it's important.
Yes.
So now I'll call back. I'll do that on occasion, but I'll call back and it says it's not a working number
Yeah.
or this or that. So it's another phony thing. So how do you
stop them? If these
I
things,
don't think
the
you
things that are
can.
supposed to work don't seem to be working.
No, I don't think they work. But you know what's out there now, which wasn't out there before? They're called robo-killers.
Robo-killers. It sounds like it's something that should be on the news every night. Where's that robo-killer?
Yeah. Here's one, stop robocalls forever. How to stop robocalls forever. 5 ways. Stop. How do you stop it on an Android? How do you stop it on an iPhone? How do you stop it on a flip phone? I got to tell you people, you cannot stop it unless unless the government does something about it.
Really? What is the government going to do?
I don't know. They have to, they say if you get these unwanted calls and they're more than once, you can sue them. Who are you going to sue?
Who are you going to sue?
I don't
Exactly.
know.
You know what? That reminds me. It was yesterday, I believe, in the mail, there was a postcard, and it was a class action lawsuit.
Oh,
And you know what?
really?
I didn't even pay attention to it because I was afraid even that might have been a scam. But it says you are named in a class action lawsuit, and it had to do with a company making these robocalls. And so they were sued, whoever they are, and they want you to sign up to participate in the proceeds of the suit. But I didn't want to be giving out any information. They want you to give information, your name and phone and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know if that was
Social
legit.
security number,
So
bank
they didn't
account.
ask for that, but still, I didn't know if it was legit. So I just threw it away.
Well, what I would do in the future is Google it and see if it is legit. Like I Googled that sex thing there, and they not only said to just delete it, but they gave you samples. It was like 11 pages of samples of how these people write it. And it's like word for word. So, and they tell you that they just get these emails. They're using your email. They really can't get into your email. They use it. So if you're afraid that somebody's getting into your email, and always what it is they're using your email. And then they send these random things hoping to get a bite. And they do it for the IRS too. Like
Yeah.
IRS, you owe this, you
Yeah.
owe that. The IRS is not going to call you or even email you, and none of the banks ask you for your social security number.
Right. In fact, anything that's supposedly from a bank, I think, if you get an email that's supposedly from the bank, I don't think I would even trust that.
Well, I tell you, I almost fell into one.
You did?
I had an issue with a bank, and I went into the office, and the girls told me I should hear from them within a week. And then a few nights later, I get a call, and they say they're going to take care of the issue and this and that. And I said a few words. She says, well, let's start. I have to make sure. And it sounded legit, you know, with your call may be recorded and all these things. And she says, now let's start with the account number. Can you verify your account number? I says, well, no, because I'm out right now. Oh, well, just give me your social security
boy.
number. I says, well, I'll give you the last 4 digits. And she says, no, I need the whole social security number. So something went off. I says, well, call me tomorrow, and I'll have it around this time, and I'll have the information for you. So the next morning, I get a call from the person I went in to see at the bank.
Oh,
And she said, that's a scam
really? Yeah.
because the bank will never ask for your social security number. Isn't that interesting? Well, I almost fell for it. And you know, another thing they say, never say yes on the phone. Now, I have a phone number in my mother's maiden name, and my mother passed away, 20 years ago. So when somebody calls up and go, is this Anna? So what I do is, because I know it's
Yeah, right.
phony, I go, oh, is this Anna?
You got to be kidding.
No, but here's this. I see you.
Now, what is this No More Robo?
Yeah, in other words, no more robocalls. That's what how these robo killers are out there, and yeah, I would just as soon you read that.
I got to put my glasses on
Okay.
then.
Put your glasses on. So I'm reading this one too. 'Cause we did a lot of research. We had all the kids do research on this robocalls.
Okay, so we're looking here at ways to stop the robocalls. Now, I don't know if they all work or not. Do you?
Well, according to them, there were 3 winners.
They had
Right.
some sort of a contest or something, or some sort of a research.
But this one was the
No
best.
More Robo being the only one that's gone on to establish a service you can actually use.
And it's
is free,
free.
easy to sign up, and works as promised. So that's good. No More Robo.
But that was a few years ago, and now they're saying is there an app? As of just a few months ago, there is now an app to stop robocalls.
AT&T's Call
Yeah.
Protect app is available for Android and Apple users with iPhone users. When the app is installed And set up, AT&T will automatically block fraudulent calls, warn of suspected spam calls, and allow you to block unwanted calls from a specific number for free.
Yeah, but then it says from a specific number. So the problem with that is they'll change it. They'll call you from 5678 one day, and then the next day, or even the next few hours, 5679.
Yeah.
And so on. So I don't know if you're ever free. Now, people say, well, you do not this, do not that. Then why is it increasing? I had a note here that there's 2.5 billion illegal. Why aren't they doing something about it?
Yeah.
If anybody knows,
I mean, the
how
Do
you
Not
can
Call
do
registry
something.
came out, well, over 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
and it worked for the
It
time
worked for a
being,
while,
before
but
they
now
got
they
the
found ways. Just, you know
robocalls.
what? It's just like hackers in emails or hackers in any internet platform. They find ways around it. They're kind of like mice and rats, where they'll find a way.
Mice and rats.
Yeah, they'll find a little opening and they'll come in through that.
Speaking of rats, how come people have pet rats?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Do people
No,
have pet rats?
No kidding. Yeah, they do.
What?
There was I'm diverting, but we've had shows on hoarders too.
Yeah.
Out of this hoarder's house, they cleared out, it's hard to believe, over 2,000 rats, and the guy called them his pets, his family.
You gotta be kidding.
And and they told me he had to get rid of them. They bought cages and brought them to different pet stores for adoption.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Not kidding.
You got to be kidding.
No way. But here's something too. They're saying if the next time a telemarketer calls you, think of it as a way to get money, because if you're on the national do not call list, it's illegal for them to do that. If they do it, you can get $500 a call. Now the thing is they really don't tell you how to do it, and I don't know who you're going to sue. You got to sue somebody. If they could just stop them. I mean, it's obviously not stopping them.
Is there any way to even find out when they do make these calls from whatever number they use to trace it back to the company that is using that number?
You know something? I don't know why the phone companies don't do anything. Maybe it's the phone companies that should be sued to maybe make them. Maybe they do. Maybe they charge for saying, "Well, let you use this phone number. I'll let you use that phone number." They must have these apps that they can put any phone number in that they want. What's this one?
Well, that's kind of disappointing, really. If
Yeah.
there's no way that we know of to stop. I bet there is, but maybe it costs too much money for the companies to implement.
Probably, but what? So the federal government, instead of doing these crazy investigations that don't go anywhere, maybe they should do something with the robocalls. I wonder if they get robocalls.
Right.
But this is just the other day. Robocalls jumped 60%, and scammers are finding more ways to make money. Here, it says last year, 48 billion. 48 billion.
That's huge. Are you serious? Are you kidding? 48 billion were made last year to U.S. mobile phone users.
And the scams
Last
are
year.
effective. 3 to 5% of the people.
Responding to the messages and sometimes sending scammers thousands of dollars.
Now it says cell carriers and tech companies are working to fix the problem. So where are they working the problem? This particular person, I think, was looking for money to help. But it's all, I mean, there's solutions, but if there was a solution, why don't, look at this, 11 pages on just one type of scam.
Wow.
Just telling you about it, saying just delete it.
Now, there are some robocalls that are legal.
Oh yeah, did you ever get one that they say, this is not a solicitation?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
because they're covering themselves. They say, we're just taking a survey.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so the survey is, are you interested in solar or something like that? That's one of the big ones now. Are you interested in
I think
solar?
maybe that one
So
is
they're
on-
just taking the survey.
Oh.
And then another one out is, here's some more. Another one out is the electric company. They say they're working for the electric company. They're not working for the electric company. They're competitors of your present electric company.
Yeah,
And they talk to you and they get information from you. So, oh, well, I use this, I use that.
State AGs push for faster action to fight robocalls, Consumer Reports.
Yeah, this was about 2 months ago.
That's encouraging. The robocall problem is out of control. There you go, what you were just saying. It's time for the FCC and the phone companies to take more action. And that's what we're really saying, right? It has to, something more has to be done.
So it's the FCC, which again is a branch of the government. We ought to check. I mean, I had people working on this for several hours, and I mean, they came up with a lot. So now hopefully, I mean, in the end, you know, this one says, oh, the solution is this, the solution is that. There is no solution. Otherwise, they would have had it stop.
And here's another thing. It says the FCC permits non-commercial robocalls to most residential non-cellular phone lines. And there is an act called the Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991 that regulates regulates automatic calls. So, and it talks a little bit more about the criteria that are imposed on robocalls to be considered legal.
But even Wikipedia now has a definition of robocall.
It has a definition. What is it?
Oh, it's another thing. I didn't even bother with it, but I mean, that's how popular it is now with the robocall. But anyway, why don't we talk about what, I think we have a little time left. Why don't we talk about, well, we can talk about the LAPD.
Why don't we?
Okay.
We've been referring to it from time to time, but I don't know if our viewers really know the whole story.
Okay.
Why don't you tell them?
You want me to tell them from the beginning? Well,
Yes.
what happened was I was visiting my granddaughter who goes to University of Southern California, and then my son Jonathan Saphire was visiting in LA at the same time, and my husband and I went for the day. We were in Arizona visiting my daughter with the 8 kids. So we went to LA for the day, and Kaylee picked us up, and we went out to lunch with her, and then we went and saw my son. He took us for a tour around Hollywood and a museum, and then the plan was we were going back to her apartment. She has an apartment there on campus to get a tour of the campus, and then afterwards we were going to eat, and then Jonathan was going to drive us to the airport, and that would have been a nice day. So they use this new app called Waze, W-A-Z-E, which takes you here and there, and I know they have it here, but I didn't realize it's all over the country. But anyway, look at that view as Waze, W-A-Z-E.
Is it better than the GPS, like the Google Maps?
Well, it is like a GPS, but it takes you, like if there's an accident, they let you know there's an accident or a shortcut. I mean, it's interesting, especially if you're taking somebody to an airport or this or that. It'll take you the best ways.
Maybe that's why it's called Waze. We were both saying that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we get to her street, and there's police cars on both sides of the street, blocking this way, blocking that way. Just police cars. There must have been over a dozen of them. So we say, oh, well, this Kaylee's apartment. Why don't you just pull over? We'll tell her to come out and this and that. The 2 police officers are telling us that we can't park there because the SAG Awards are that night, which is Screen Actors Guild. And apparently they give out the awards at that school.
Amazing.
And people have told me that for the LA movies, things for the movie, they do interviews there. They don't call them interviews. What do they call a movie when you try out for a part?
Oh, the auditions?
Yeah, so they do auditions there.
Oh, no, really? That is You Got to Be Kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do it.
They do them at the school?
Yeah, at the school.
Wow.
So anyway, the minute I see a police officer, I go, you know, police officers are our friends. And they look at you. They all look at you like there's something wrong with you. And then the next words out of my mouth is, here's my name, I'm legitimate. I'm not crazy. Look at this. And I go, oh, we do this, we do that. So, their interests perked up. And anyway, Kaylee came out at that time. And I says, Kaylee, do you have a book? And I think in this book here, the latest second edition of Sharon, and we got, how many books now? 15, with working on another dozen. And I said, Kaylee, do you have the Sharon book? And I don't know if you can see, but this page here is of a police officer helping people by directing traffic. In fact, she's going to do one like this and put Hollywood up above, special for the LA edition.
Fantastic.
Yes, we got an LA edition. So he saw that, and we were talking about what police officers do. And I says, well, in Massachusetts, it seems like they all have the same project going at the same time, like reading books to children or toys for tots. Police do a lot of good, to try to, they start with children so that the children will see that they are their friends. And he says, oh, I've done that myself. Look, here's my phone. I got a picture of myself. So he did, and then she brought out the book. He was absolutely dumbfounded that such a thing existed. He says, we have nothing like that.
Imagine that.
So imagine in LA, I don't know if other parts of California, but LA is a big place. He said there are 21 divisions. So picture like, probably the biggest book we've done was for Brockton, who has over 100,000 people. But we give the same care whether it's 100,000 or
I know.
4,000. And he wrote, I had it here, 21 divisions, and they're going to give it to all of them, every single one of them. You say you've got to be kidding?
Yeah.
You're going to say
You've got to be kidding.
No, he's going to see that they all have it. 21 divisions, and he when I came back the next day, I emailed Becca in the office, who's brilliant. Is over there. Hi, Becca. And who's brilliant, and she wrote to him, and in less than 2 hours, he answered how thrilled he was, and then he wrote me a letter, and with pictures, and he's reaching out to everybody there is excited about it, and it's just constant.
It's definitely, you've got to be kidding. When you first told me this story, I thought, this is like the perfect storm. First of all, the fact that you were in LA, which isn't that unusual, but the Screen Actors Guild was having their...
I haven't been in LA in years.
No kidding. You got to be kidding. So the Screen Actors Guild was having their ceremony
which is,
right at the school where your granddaughter goes, so you couldn't find a parking place because it was
my
all...
son happened to be in LA
Your
at the
son
same
happened to be
time.
there, and you couldn't get a parking place, and you
Right.
just, you get up and start talking to the policeman, right?
Oh, and they said they were just there on a detail. He happened to be the community relations person for the Northeast Division of LA.
Community relations.
Yeah,
What
for
are the chances of
Northeast
that
Division.
happening?
Yeah, I mean, he was the
And
one
what are
in
the
charge
chances
of that.
of Kaylee having a book to bring out and show him? All those things together,
Yeah, I was surprised that she had it.
amazing. It's truly you've got to be kidding moment. And I think we're just about towards the end of our program now, unfortunately. It just went
Oh,
by too
you
fast.
got to be kidding.
But the whole program was You've Got to Be Kidding, so
Yeah,
we
this
don't
thing,
have
You've
to
Got to Be
have
Kidding.
a You've Got to Be Kidding segment.
Yeah,
Because
it
the whole
was You
thing,
Got to Be Kidding.
the
But
whole
if
thing
anybody
was-
can tell us about what they did to end robocalls or what they suggest. I mean, people have been coming over to us since they heard we were going to do it on robocalls and say, well, they have this now. I go, it doesn't work. They have this. No, that doesn't work either. Nothing works. It's annoying. And you know what happens too? Have you ever been like texting? Because nobody talks to you anymore. They all
No,
text.
yeah.
When you get one of those robocalls, well, for my phone, it interrupts what I'm writing and I lose it.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it does. So that's horrible. My daughter, now that she's in Arizona for the past 20 years, she says horrible. I says it's horrible.
Yeah, that's Massachusetts talk, right?
You want to hear? I'll tell you another funny thing. If my kids are listening, I bought myself a new jacket. My jackets have to be a certain way. They have to have zippers, as many zippers as possible, because I drop things, I lose things, they fall out. I need zippers. So I didn't have enough room in my suitcase to take the jacket home. So I left it there in Arizona. And my daughter sends me a picture. The two girls, one has one jacket of mine and the other one has the other one. I says, that's my new jacket. They're in New York this weekend.
You got to be kidding.
No.
Are you going to go get your jacket?
I was thinking of that.
Let's wrap it up with that.
Okay, you wrap it up as you do your beautiful way.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah, it always
it's really
is.
fun, and I think people are very impressed with all the work. Most of the work has been yours and under your supervision on these books, and it's just wonderful. And the LAPD is just amazing that that's going to happen.
And our team that we have that helps us is amazing,
That's
too.
true.
We
That's
have
true.
all kinds of students, all ages. If your kid can move a crayon, we'll use them.
That's it. That wraps up our show today. And I want to thank our viewers for watching. And please let us know if you have any ideas or any evidence about robocalls and what's effective at stopping them. And let us hear from you about any other topics you might like to see on this program. Because remember, this is your show. The law, your money,
And you.